Welcome to HR Digital Angel, all the geek translated into HR speak. I'm your host, Sarah Regal, resident IT geek and instructional designer, here to help you with applying technology, new modalities, and methods into an HR context. Today, we have part 2 of our 3-part series on chatbots. Last time, we defined 3 basic types of bots. If you missed it, you should check it out before listening to this episode. Now, I'll help you to understand the HR use cases. Finally, in episode 3, we'll talk about how to deploy functional and successful chatbot training programs for your learners and learn how to build our very own bot. Remember our 3 kinds of bots? Just in case, I'll do a quick recap. We have our baby bots, the rules-based chatbots, our toddler bots, the virtual assistants, and our teenager bots, the support bots. You might be wondering, why bother with a bot at all? You have a website, you send emails. Why bother with all this geek? Don't worry, your HR Digital Angel is here to help. Humans are social, interactive creatures. We are hardwired to communicate in interactive ways. A bot simulates these human interactions to create a more natural, supported, and satisfying experience. So let's get real. We'll start with our rules-based bots. These are the easiest to build. A rules-based bot is list-based, so there are some specific guidelines you should keep in mind when considering use cases. First, rule-based bots are good for situations with a limited number of questions, 300 or less. Why? The question must be exact to get the answer. You don't want your users frustrated sifting through a massive list. They won't, and they won't be back. You get one chance. If they can't find the answer, they're done. Second, rules-based bots are good for focused topics, such as your learning offer, mobility policy, recruitment questions, compensation guidelines, new hire details, things of this nature. The bot has a clear and specific purpose that is evident to the user. This makes it easy to understand when to go to it, easy to sift the questions, and easy to maintain. Last, you should use a rules bot for answering questions you receive a lot of. Your FAQs. This is the information that your users want, and they'll be willing to go to the bot for. This is also to ensure a return on investment for you. There is a cost to deploying and maintaining a bot. You need what you get out of it: user satisfaction, fewer emails, faster answers, modern, tech-forward image, to be worth these costs. Okay, so now you have the guidelines, let's talk about the cases. Rules bots are excellent for your LMS. They can help your learners find training that is relevant to them by answering a series of questions. They can help your learners better understand your offer. They can help you market and socialize your offer by telling learners what's new, why they might have been assigned to training, what languages it's available in, and other important information. Rules bots are also useful in a recruitment setting. Your bot can tell candidates how long it takes to review a resume, what your hiring policy is, all about your company culture, and what available jobs might best suit a candidate based on their education and experience. In a talent setting, a bot can explain your talent policy, talk about talent development programs, socialize opportunities for internal mobility. These bots are also very useful for onboarding, guiding your new hires through everything they need to know to get started. When you're new, you have a lot of predictable questions. A bot can help support these answers. So now that you have a good sense of what you can use a rules bot for, let's move on to our next level, the virtual assistant. A virtual assistant requires more technology to deploy. It is much more complex. There are things you need to consider when you deploy them. First, your IT setup. Do you have a consistent setup across your organization with consistent rules? Chances are you don't know the answers to this, so you'll need to work with your IT team. It's typically easier if your users are confined to a single region or are using a single place to access your bot. You will need a place for the bot's brain. This is called hosting. It is the technical setup where the information that makes the bot up goes. Second, you must think about where your users will go to access the bot. Who is your audience for the virtual assistant? People in a specific country? Users of a specific HR system or a website? People in a particular program or with a particular level of seniority? Once you've answered these questions, you must think about the security setup and software used by your organization. Your bot must work with all of the browsers, like Internet Explorer, Edge, Chrome, Firefox, that your users have access to. Third, you have to think about permissions. Your bot must be permitted by security rules. Does your organization block pop-ups? Does your bot need to access other systems to perform tasks? Will it have access to sensitive data? Does your bot store data? Your setup must take into account all the data regulations of your country and any countries that can access the bot. Will people talk to your bot? Or will they have a chat type interface? So what does all of this geek mean? It means you'll need several groups of people involved in launching your virtual assistant. IT support, IT infrastructure and middleware, IT security, IT data and privacy, and legal. If you're really lucky, you'll have one person that coordinates with all these teams for you, such as an IT service delivery manager or an IT project manager. Regardless, you should involve these people very early in your project, before you start talking to vendors. They could accompany you in the process. So when do you use a virtual assistant? A virtual assistant is good for action-oriented situations where you have a precise and predictable set of tasks you want the bot to perform. Some examples of this might be the hiring process. A bot can pre-populate the information from a candidate's records at the correct portions of the process. It can reach out to the hiring manager for additional information or approvals. The bot could coordinate systems access and make technical aspects of your onboarding process a snap. In a learning situation, a virtual assistant could manage the course enrollment process, provide feedback to a learner about whether they meet requirements for a course, coordinate with a manager, and reach out to learners for feedback once a course is complete. Could you do these things with forms? Yes, and you probably are. But the advantage of a bot lays in the user experience and in the ease of performing the tasks in a process. With your bot, your users do not need to read a procedure, fill out a lot of forms, and try to remember what step to complete when. The bot manages these aspects for them and engages them at the appropriate time and level. It creates efficiency and satisfaction. Lastly, we're going to talk about a support bot. Support bots are the most complicated, particularly on the technical side. These bots use more advanced artificial intelligence for interactions and to understand the intent of what the user is requesting. You'll need to take into account all of the technical considerations that you must look at for the virtual assistant. IBM Watson is a good example of a setup for a support bot, and we'll learn how to build a bot with Watson in the next episode. There is a lot you can do with a support bot because these bots learn and can understand what your users are looking for. The complexity of these bots mean that you must select the best use cases to make them worth the investment. Some examples of support bots might be technical assistance for your LMS, hiring systems, or compensation processes. However, the best use case for this type of bot is a virtual professor. Yes, you heard me right. Your bot can teach your classes. Self-paced learning is a growing trend with vendors like Coursera producing MOOCs at rapid pace. This type of guided, self-paced, and online course can be enhanced even further with a completely artificial instructor. In this scenario, your bot can deliver lectures, answer questions from learners, produce and grade assignments, and provide feedback. It can manage all of the typical phases of a learning course completely autonomously, an on-demand professor available whenever your learners want it. So now you understand some of the use cases for each of the types of chatbots. In the next episode, we'll go deeper and learn how to build a bot using IBM Watson, and how to use this information to develop a skills development program for your learners. Have a topic that you'd like your HR Digital Angel to translate from Geek to HR Speak? Don't hesitate to reach out, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.